wattage. Like a girl's bumper, I'm joking.
Oh, wasted. City lights are shining so bright. All these empty faces, we don't care about them tonight. We're going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost like I don't know if it's real. Cause when we're doing our thing, where the wheels won't stop turning. I know we're acting stupid.
Yes guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video, and in this video you can see we're down here at Dub Customs and we're going to be improving the handling ever so slightly, but apparently there should be a noticeable difference. So for that we're going to be doing some subframe inserts, so they just go straight into the bush, so we're not doing a full bush replacement. We're just going to get the inserts, shove them in the hole, and hopefully things go well. But to do that we obviously had to get in touch with Williams Performance, so big shout out to that man. Again, I'll leave the link to the item and link to the website in the description. But yeah, literally they're just going to go straight in the actual bush that's already in the car, just to fill the void that's in there and stop the wobbling about feeling. So hopefully it should improve the handling. Something else to mention as well is that, as well as that, I will be doing another mod quite soon, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for that. But yeah, enough talking, let's get straight into the video. Fitness training at Dove Customs. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the jack supporting the diff, so we're not supporting it on the little bit in front, the silver bit, we're supporting it on the actual diff. So then next what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to crack this screw loose, E18 bolt, and then we're going to allow it to drop down, and it's going to be the exact same on the other side. So I'm only going to show you one side and you can do the other side yourself in it. Right, so as you can see, we've got the E18 out, so that's happy days. Next what we're going to do, we're obviously going to make sure we get the right sort of bit. So obviously this is obviously going to sit on there at some point and look like that, but oh, let's get under here. In here you can see there's only one way it can really go in, so I don't know how much light is gonna obviously transpire into this video, but just in there you've got some space to slide these in. They do come like with a bit of lube, so you can like get a little lube to shove it in, but mine literally fit and go in spot on without the need. So that's going to be me, I'm going to be happy there sort of thing. And obviously when I do put it back in and torque it all up, it's going to obviously squeeze it in spot on in the right way. But yeah, that bit's done, but obviously we've got to take that out now because we've obviously got to do the top as well. So you can just do the bottom, some people just like to do the bottom, but me personally, you again, it's you again, I can't even see you, man. It's like just a white light. There you go, you're back in out of the darkness into the light. But yeah, as I was saying, under here guys, yeah, I've just got to now lower the subframe. Obviously I'm going to do the same on the other side, so I'm going to have to take the bolt out on that side to bring it down. But once I do lower the subframe, then I can do the top bit. But like I said, this is a fairly simple mod if you know what you're doing. If not, take it to a garage, quite an easy job. But yeah, let's get back into it. Alrighty then, so as you can see, I've taken out both of these E18, so that's one there and one over here. If you're getting any sort of vertigo, apologies for that. Next, what I've done, now I've taken the bolts out, I've then lowered the subframe just above the exhaust, so you can see it's not touching, it's just above it, and obviously it's nice, the jack's nice and tight now, but it's again still on axle stands. And now as you can see, hopefully you can anyway, I've got some space just above it now where I can literally fit 3 fingers, which is going to be more than enough for me to put the top bit in and the bottom. So yeah, what I did, I used a 1/2 inch extension bar just to kind of bend the inside of the bush left and right. And to be fair, there's not much play in these bushes compared to some of the other BMW cars, so fair play. But nonetheless, we've got them, so we might as well just fit them anyway, and I'm quite sure they're going to make a difference. So yeah, literally use this in there just to kind of give it a little bit of wiggle, because you can see there is still some wiggle, and that allowed the top bit to move for me to put the top bit in. So the next thing I need to do is literally whack this in the bottom. It does come with lube, so you can use some lube, as said, just to make things a bit smoother, you know what I'm saying?
That's what she said.
And then once you do that, you shove this bit in, and then all we need to do next is just get the bottom bit and just whack it in. But that is how it's going to look. Okay, so as you can see, we've done the inserts now. We've done both the bottom and the top insert for the rear, and the same on the other side. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to jack the diff back up. So just use the jack here just to jack the diff back up just a tad to where it should be, and that's going to allow us to put our bolts back in. We're not going to torque things down just yet, but the main thing is that we get these bolts in, so that way we can leave them kind of loose, so that way we can loosen the front ones, which are probably under that panel there, and that's going to allow us to kind of rock the subframe in that direction, because right now it's tilted back to allow us to get to the top. And then we're going to undo the bolt just over there, I'll show you that in a minute, and then tip it that way to do the fronts. Fairly simple job. Okay, so now here comes a slightly more trickier part. So the rears have been done. Obviously we haven't torqued them down yet because obviously we need to tilt the subframe forward, but in this little panel here, just is right by the wheel area, you can take your wheel off, but I'm going to try and do it without anyway. You've got to remove 2 of these screws. I don't know what Torx bits they are, but you remove 2 of these Torx screws that are under here, and then that should kind of allow you to bring this flap down. I believe it's just 2 anyway. Yeah, and once we've done that, it's going to be the same sort of method we're going to have to use to take it out, which is going to be E18 bolt on the little tension strut in there. I think it's called a tension strut. I can't remember what it is, but we're going to have to take that E18 bolt out, and I believe there's some other bolts in it as well, but I'll talk you through that once we've got this flap down. See, I've taken out 2 of the T30 bolts. There was 1 here and also 1 located here, and also I took out a 8mm bolt which was just in here, so hopefully you guys can see it, but there was a 8mm bolt just in there that I had to take out as well, and that's kind of giving me enough wiggle room now to pull this down, but I don't think it's going to be enough for me to go all the way, so I'm going to have to undo 2 of these plugs. You can probably see it better on your own car, but there's these 2 plugs, you've got to just prise them forward, pull them out, and that's going to allow you to bring this flap down. Get something like this, a trim tool or something similar to get at that bit in there. So that bit in here, all the way in here, hopefully camera gets in focus, just needs to be prized out. Same along with this one in here as well. Get it in there nice and good and just push away to pull it out. And as you can see under there, that is the bit, and then you just need to get behind this, probably with a flathead screwdriver or something similar, and pull that out. Okay, so once you take these out, make sure they don't go missing anywhere, because you're obviously going to need them to put back in when you're done. But as you can see, we've now got enough access, because now the flap is flapping away nicely, flapping away. What I would suggest is give it a little clean. If you are working indoors or in your garage or whatever, give it a little clean, so that way you're not going to be laying in any dust or anything like that. Flap out of the way, you can see exactly what I was talking about in here. So what we're going to have to do is remove the big boy bolt in there, which again is another E18, and then we're going to have to remove the slightly smaller ones as well. You can see here we've got 2 of those. We're going to have to remove those as well to enable us to remove the tension strut. I'll keep calling it tension strut. I hope it is a tension strut. If it's not, ignore everything I'm saying about tension strut. But yeah, once you do that, the next thing we'll do is obviously attack the bush by lowering the subframe again. The same method, the same way applies, but obviously using our jack again. Okay, so we have removed this item here, the item, I'm not going to call it tension strut, so something tells me it's not going to be called that. Removed 2 of these bolts, which you can see was an E14, so we used the E14 on both of these, so we removed these, E14, and obviously we used the normal E18 to remove that bolt. And now, as you can see, up in here, we've got the same sort of design that we used on the front. So I'm not going to show you this part because it's exactly the same, but what we're going to do now, we're going to literally lower the jack, and that's going to allow us the subframe to kind of tilt in a forward position, bearing in mind the bolts at the back have to be in, the ones we just done, the bolt has to be in just ever so slightly to allow it to tilt. If it's out all the way, the whole subframe is going to come down, and we don't want that. We just want it to tilt slightly, so we're going to kind of use the bolts at the back to kind of give it a seesaw effect, for it to kind of tilt forward or downwards rather, for us to put the top, and obviously on the other side to put the top insert into the bush.
A few moments later.
Okay, so we just put a tank of fuel inside the engine. Let's see how it feels. So obviously I know what it's done. It's probably going to stop the actual tramp going, obviously from the subframe on the harsh acceleration, but obviously I didn't have enough petrol, so I put petrol in, and now we're going to give it our first proper set. You know, let's go down to first gear. First gear. Wow. Cheese and bread. Swear left, swear right, swear down. Oh my days, flat. Keyword, flattage. Flattage. Like a girl's bumper, I'm joking. Guys, I'll tell you one thing right now, yeah? I will tell you one thing, right, let me just make sure, because these bushes can't really, that's better. Even on this bumpy road, this is why I chose this road, I know it's got a little altitude changes to it. Wow, like that. Swear down. Wow. Guys, these little inserts. Shout out to Mark, Williams Performance, guys. Obviously I'll leave a link in the description, but 120 quid. It's way more stability. way more stability, I'm telling you. Yeah, just look at that. On exit as well, under acceleration before, what I was finding is that the car was pushing down, which was great. It was digging the rear tyres in, but then the front end felt a bit floaty. What I've noticed is that the car feels a lot more flat, so it feels more, doesn't feel as I can't rear bias, which is obviously a big statement to make, and probably just to a degree it would have changed how the car accelerates, because it definitely has changed 100%. This 3 Series isn't gonna play ball. We're not gonna play ball, huh? Got a plate though. 117.2%. There's been a change. In terms of percentage wise, what I will say is 100% there's been a change. Oh, ambulance, come do your thing. What are you doing, boss? Stop for him then. Oh. Oh. Okay. Guys, so XHP is sick because it makes the gear shifts a lot smoother. But what I was noticing before, when I was changing gear and pushing out of corners, I felt like there was a loss of grip to the front tyres, slightly, ever so slightly, because the car was obviously rear biased, the nose was flying up. But with these inserts, it's made the car a lot more stable, so there's not as much axle tramp, which is great, which is absolutely great. But oh my days, look at it. Hey, this road this road is shocking, boss. Yes, recommended. So guys, what I would say, get your car, obviously throw it in stage 1, you got to throw it in stage 1 just to enjoy it, but chase handling after that. 100% inserts, if you can stretch to a diff, definitely, but the inserts for me, that the rear end's just, it's with me now. It's with me now. Before I was a bit like, the car's going this way, the rear end's doing another thing. We're all on the same wavelength now. So I drive the car in DSC off mode all the time, and I always get that little feeling over bumps that it's gonna go away from me. Now, pothole, swerved. What I will say is that the rear end is definitely connected. I know what the rear end's doing, and it's doing whatever I'm doing now, as opposed to it just not feeling super connected, if that's the best way to describe it. 100%. And the thing is, I could have gone for firmer, so there are the black ones. If you know inserts, you got loads of types. You got the yellow inserts, the softer ones, road, street version. Then you got the hard ones, which are slightly harder, the black ones, and they do bring noise apparently. William says they don't, but obviously by then I've already ordered them, and I was like, oh mate, too late. And he was like, no Tim, just go for it. Obviously if you fancy them, just go for them. I was like, but bro, like, it's more money. I was like, yeah, but that's what you want. So yeah, the yellows for me, for now anyway, seem like they're enough. If you're building a car that's heavily track based, you probably would just forget about inserts and actually go for the actual bushes. Again, polyurethane, I want to call the word. It's not polystyrene, you know, polystyrene in there. But yeah, the yellows, spot on for me, bang on. Like I said, you need to get 2 packets. You got to get the front part of the subframe, which is going to have 4 pieces in there, and then the rear part, which is going to have 4 pieces as well, because they're not interchangeable. Also to note, make sure you, when you're fitting, I want to say the fronts, make sure that you get it the right way, because obviously they can only go in one way, especially at the top. I think it's only at the top anyway. They can only go in one way, so just make sure before you put it in, you check that it's the same sort of shape as the bush. If not, when you are installing, you're going to run into issues and you're not going to be able to install it properly, because you're going to be like, why ain't it going in? And some idiots do that, and then they spend 30 minutes trying to install it, and then they figure out that it's the wrong way. Not me though, not me. But yeah guys, that is the video. I hope you're all well, I hope you're enjoying your weekend, and I will see you in the next video for a lovely, lovely change to the car. That's all I'm saying. Stay blessed, and I'll see you soon. God bless.